Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on an official state visit to the United States of America on June 21st at the invitation of President Joe Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden. As President Joe Biden himself said, everyone in the whole country wants to meet the Indian Premier, and the Indian Americans are gearing up to accord a grand welcome to the Prime Minister during his first state visit to the United States. PM Modi will take part in the International Yoga Day at the United Nations headquarters on the 21st of June. Modi will then visit Washington, D.C. on 22nd of June, where he will hold discussions with President Biden as a part of their ongoing high-level dialogue. The Indian Prime Minister will also address a joint sitting of the U.S. Congress the same day. On June 23rd, Modi will attend a luncheon hosted jointly by Vice President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. UK's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak joined the Home Office enforcement officials on a raid as a part of a nationwide crackdown on illegal migration, which ended in arrest of 105 foreign nationals from across 20 nationalities. The British Indian leader has made cracking down on illegal migrants one of his government's top priorities ahead of a general election expected next year. During the operation, which took place across the UK, immigration enforcement officials arrested 105 foreign nationals found working without the right to do so during 159 raids on suspected illegal work establishments. Militants linked to Islamic State group massacred at least 41 people, mostly students, in western Uganda in the country's deadliest such attack in over a decade. The country's military said that it was pursuing the attackers from the Allied Democratic Force, who also abducted 6 people during the raid on a school late on Friday before fleeing back towards the Democratic Republic of Congo. Officials and witnesses said that guns and knives were used in a ghastly late-night assault and dormitories were set ablaze. The police and the army has blamed the Allied Democratic Forces, one of the deadliest militias over the border of the Democratic Republic of Congo's Strifton East, which the Islamic State group has called its local offshoot. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that Moscow has sent the first batch of nuclear arms to its neighbor Belarus following an agreement signed last month. While addressing a plenary session of the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, Putin said, and I quote, "The first nuclear charges were delivered to the territory of Belarus." He further added, "This is the first part, but by the end of the summer, by the end of the year, we will complete this work entirely." In late May, Russian and Belarusian defense ministers signed an agreement on the deployment of Russian nuclear weapons in Belarus, which stipulate terms of keeping them in a special storage facility. South Korea's military on Friday successfully retrieved a large chunk of a crashed North Korean space rocket from the seabed after 15 days of complex salvage operations. North Korea attempted to put its first military spy satellite into the orbit on May 31st, but the projectile and its payload crashed into the sea shortly after the launch due to what Pyongyang said was a rocket failure. The wreckage was pulled out from the seabed at a depth of about 75 meters in waters about 200 kilometers southwest of Ichukong Island. Images released by Seoul's defense ministry showed a long, wide barrel-like metal structure with the word Chinoma written on it. The Indian state of Gujarat faced widespread destruction after Cyclone Biparjoy made its landfall. The weather department had predicted heavy rainfall for Gujarat after Cyclone Biparjoy made landfall in the state. The railways also decided to partially cancel the operation of a few more trains as a precautionary measure in the cyclone-prone area over the Western Railways. Gujarat's Chief Minister held a series of meetings to review the situation on ground and directed the state administration to carry out a survey regarding the damage and restore power, roads, and movement of the people on war footing. More than 100 people lost their lives as a boat sank in north-central Nigeria. The incident happened when a boat carrying families returning from a wedding sank in the river. The riverboat was ferrying people from the Kwara state from a neighboring state when it went down, local state police and the governor's office has said. Last month, 15 children drowned and 25 others went missing after their overloaded boat capsized in northwest Nigeria as they were on their way to collect firewood. Almost exactly a year earlier, another 29 children from a nearby village also drowned in the same river as they were on a trip to collect firewood for their families.